There's the art. Is at the Ready Armory. Man, what was the?
We can think of it.
Yeah,
too.
we'll find it later.
Yeah.
Like it was
because it'll come to me probably when I'm leaving. Like, oh, that's right.
It's like
It's not
that's
the
what it
diet
was
bar.
called.
It's not blue bricks.
No. That's downtown.
That's downtown.
That's
Yeah.
But like, you would run into them like there too.
Yeah.
You just be like, why are you guys here at Mankato?
Yeah.
Like
We live here.
it's like
in Mankato.
why?
Yeah.
And then like I would do a drive up to the cities. I'd be like, oh, because it's like an hour away. Got
Right.
it.
It's not bad. No.
Like we did. There was were you at the Midwest Box Life Throwdown a few years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, because it was at the first one was at CrossFit Minneapolis, and like we had some teams from Cato CrossFit there, and then Chris invited me, and I was like, okay, and then I looked, I was like, hour and 4 minutes. Oh yeah, Minneapolis isn't that far away.
That bad, no.
Like this is great.
It's a boring drive after 10 times 169, but it's easy.
Yeah. Well, I met Kelsey when I was living in Mankato, and she was in Blaine.
Oh really?
So it was just 169 for an hour and a half
the whole way,
every single weekend. Just like
169, 610. I'm here.
It was like, oh, I'm here. Move this over a bit. There you are.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. So, what's your story, Tim?
Yeah, it's a loaded question.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So I have time. I don't know how long you have.
I have at 2:00, so I probably have to leave here by 1.
Gotcha.
Prepare for that. But what's my story? Well, I was born in California.
Okay.
My father was a Marine.
That's cool.
My parents divorced, and my parents were from Minnesota. They were actually from the Seward.
Okay.
So near Mankato. And my mom moved back, and then so I graduated from Anoka High School.
Okay.
And then went to Mankato State for a couple years, and then transferred to Minnesota Duluth.
Okay.
Where I graduated from there.
All right.
Good
story, podcast.
Yeah, podcast done. Cool.
Sweet. Thanks, Anders, for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you. So from there, do you want me to talk about like my interests, my sports, or kind of
anything that you'd like to like get out there?
Yeah. So from there, I started. Had an infatuation with getting back to California.
Okay.
So I got back to California, started bartending and serving at the Cheesecake Factory.
Solid job.
Yep. And it was funny because everyone, when I was living in Brentwood, which is right near Santa Monica, everyone's like, so are you a student or are you an actor? I'm like, I'm here for the weather. I'm here for the weather. And I will take an acting job if you need. But I just love being around people and networking is what I found. And shortly thereafter, probably within a year, I moved back to the Twin Cities. Really just kind of missed family.
Okay.
And, that first big leap of leaving, you realize, hey, I'm on my own. Like, there's no one here. Like, I have to meet my friends, meet my neighbors. At that time, this was 2011. Yeah, 2010, 2011. I'd actually found CrossFit LA. Okay. So I was maybe half a mile or a mile from there. So I ran there, worked out, and it was some sort of probably like the baseline workout where it was like rowing, pull-ups, push-ups, and then running as well. So similar to the baseline, but not the same. And it was like for 3 rounds for time. And I'm like, okay, let me figure, growing up an athlete, I was in basketball, baseball, and football.
Okay.
So I'm like, hey, I can do this. And gave it a shot. And I didn't puke, but I nearly puked. I had to lay outside in the grass for about 40 minutes. And then the owner's like, are you good? You okay? I was like, yeah, good. And then walked home, and I was like, I love it. So unfortunately, I was in the midst of leaving there. Otherwise, had I found that, like a month or 2 earlier,
you'd probably still be out in California.
Like, as you and I are very entrenched in our communities, you just realize like the people you meet from there, like become your family. Things happen for a reason though. So I moved back and started working with a startup company in the nutrition space. It was called Effervescent Energy.
Okay.
And to paint a picture, the packet it came in looked like a condom packet, and it had a big E on it. So everyone would be like, oh, like eruption? Like, is this a condom package? No. What it was is a electrolyte supplement.
Okay.
So their big kicker was, we have more electrolytes than Gatorade.
Gotcha.
The difficulty with that product I found, and again, there was only 4 of us, 5, I think, actually, with a warehouse guy. And my responsibilities were out in the field, driving around, windshield time, meeting with convenience store locations, educating them on this product, and trying to put our product within the store, right?
Okay.
Get shelf space. But what ended up happening is the company ended up folding. And the difficulty with that product I was going towards is you have to rip it off and then pour it into a liquid. So it was always like, hey, if you buy water, you have to buy that. Or it actually was really great with a great story was, one of my good buddies' cousins was the quarterback for Wisconsin.
Okay.
Daniel O'Brien. And we went out there and we were having a great time. And I brought all these eruption bags, and we were just throwing them everywhere and hucking them and giving them to people. But they were really great in vodka sodas.
Okay.
So we were playing ping pong or beer pong with vodka sodas and eruption. So the idea was, hey, while we're drinking, we're supplementing our electrolytes, so we're not going to be hungover. And it worked. But the company just didn't last, I think, really from that consumer difficulty where, hey, I just want to buy something and go. I want to have to buy 2 things.
Yeah.
Right. And especially, I really found out that was kind of my first exposure to entrepreneurship and like small business. It's a really dog eat dog world, right? Especially in a convenience store. Next time you're in there, kind of take a look and you're like, damn, there's like hundreds of products like just at the checkout.
Yeah.
So that kind of led to the unfortunate of the company kind of folding. So, and then from there, I was bartending. Again, I was working at Triggs in Uptown. Kind of was serving more so, but great place. I was living in Uptown at the time. I was actually, how I found the company Eruption was interesting. I think this is kind of how my life has worked too. I was running around Calhoun or Bede-Makaska and training for the Tough Mudder.
Okay.
So I'd run around, oh, there's a jungle gym, go do some pull-ups, go do some, plyo jumps on the stairs, getting ready for, I have no idea what Tough Mudder was. And at the time I saw the Jeep Wrangler with a big E on it. And I'm like, oh, Eruption Effervescent Energy. So I reached out to them and that's how I got hired there.
Nice.
But it was kind of by way of literally just fitness that I found it.
Yeah.
And in all in the meanwhile, I was working at Triggs still trying to find, what I wanted to do with my life. I had just moved back to California. So went down that path. It didn't work. And when it folded, I was like, you know what? I'm more mature now. I know what I want. I'm going to move back to California again and stick it up.
Okay.
I don't know what my infatuation with California. I love the weather. And I love the city, the people. And when doing so, I was living with a roommate in Egan at this time. I had just moved out of Uptown.
Okay.
And goes on the private banking side at US Bank. And he's like, hey, if you get this job, how about you stay? And I'm like, if I get this job at US Bank, I'll stay. It's on the business banking side. So I would be working with business owners and such for their credit and their deposit accounts. And I got the job. So I'm like, damn it, I got to stay. So
shoot, cold weather.
Yeah, exactly. So that was 2012. I got the job in 2012, started that holiday season. And then January 2013, really hit the ground running with US Bank.
Okay.
And then I went to a concert in October of 2013. It was a paint party. So it was an EDM show.
Solid.
DJ, and it was at the Myth Event Center. So the whole place was covered in white tarp, and it was just a neon paint party. It was fantastic. And I was DDing that night. My roommate from Egan, Brian, and then my buddy Brad as well. And there's this gal that was just standing there at the top of the stairs. I walked up and said, hey, my name's Tim. She said, hey, I'm Kelly. And so you want to dance? She goes, yeah. And now she's my wife.
There you go.
So she went to the event alone. Her brother was supposed to go and then backed out like I think the night of or the day of, like, hey, I'm not going.
Okay.
But her friends were the ones that talked her into going by herself, albeit. And then we met. So that was
That's
2013. Awesome. Yeah. So what's funny though is she has an infatuation with California too. So you can see where I'm going with this. So during her summers, she was a few years younger than I. She worked at this camp out in Central Coast, California.
Okay.
And when we got married, we had that in common along with other things. And we got married in Morro Bay, California.
Okay.
I was still working at US Bank at the time. Knowing we were going to get married out there, I had started networking with internal contacts at US Bank.
Okay.
And I got the opportunity that they opened up a job for me in business banking in San Luis Obispo, which some people have heard of it, but everyone knows where Cal Poly, they've probably heard of that college, Cal Poly Technical College. That's in San Luis Obispo, as well as Zach Efron's from there.
Okay.
So,
I mean, hey, that'd make me go.
Yeah. So the cool thing about it is it's only a few hours north of LA, a few hours south of San Francisco. And great weather year round, no traffic. What else do you need?
Yeah.
So we moved out there again, albeit a short stint, because what else you need is family. And we were both working opposite shifts. So she had transferred out there with Sephora.
Okay.
And that was leading towards a lot of retail hours, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the days, but usually, 3 to 9 or, 2 to 9 or maybe even the evening stocking shift, until midnight. And I'm just here working banker hours. But during that, I had taken my L1 CrossFit certification that summer prior. Where did I take that at? Oh, St. Louis Park. I took it at CrossFit St. Louis Park.
Cool.
And I was going to Timberwolf CrossFit at that time. When we moved out to California, I found a coaching opportunity at CrossFit San Luis Obispo, which was fantastic. There was CrossFit Inferno as well. Bill Grunler's box. Great box, but he wasn't looking for coaches. And then I found CrossFit San Luis Obispo. It was fantastic. A lot of great people there and met really good friends. I mean, kind of like what we're talking about with LA. Had I found that community a little earlier, may have never came back. But so I was kind of evolving, as an extrovert. I was finding people, started coaching classes and finding my step really and my beat. And with the opposite work schedules, it was difficult when we also didn't have any really like close support people, right? And what I mean by that is really family. My wife's best friend's her mom, right? So she's an amazing woman. So family always wins out. And to that point, we came back, and I think it was a good move. Miss it to this day, but you can always travel. You know? And now I don't have to pay the taxes.
That's very true.
Yeah, their taxes are going to go up now. Yeah. So then when we moved back, I moved back with US Bank. And stop me if I'm talking too much.
Nope, you're good.
We moved back. I was fortunate to move back with US Bank. Made the smart decision to stay with them because we were going to buy a house. So then you get the best rate because you're a bank employee. And then, just through that, I started networking and a recruiter reached out. So this was 2016.
Okay.
Recruiter reached out and I was interested in looking at some other opportunities. So come 2017, I made a change from being a overall business banker working on a multitude of products to a company called Water Street Funding, which is specifically equipment financing for small to medium-sized businesses. And I was really intrigued by that because kind of, again, the entrepreneurship. It's a small business that's owned by two guys, John and Craig, awesome gentlemen. It was great to work for. And we had another sales guy, Greg, and then admin, Michelle. Both fantastic people. But I was attracted to that opportunity to kind of build my own portfolio, right? Be responsible for myself. I myself don't do, I don't like to be micromanaged. I think a lot of people don't these days, but maybe it was more common, like our parents and stuff, they didn't mind it. But I'm one that I like to go hunt and gather and farm and nurture my own contacts and my prospects. So I was there for about 3.5 years all along. staying involved in CrossFit each year. When I had moved back, I started coaching at the Athlete Lab.
Okay.
And then each year I would take a trip.
Okay.
The cool thing about coaching, and you're still coaching, right? No,
I haven't coached since shutdown.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's been over a year.
Yeah. So
almost a year. Wow.
We closed. So I was at Ham Lake from June of 19.
Yep.
And then he decided, we were going to move locations.
Yeah.
In May, we were going to move from the building to a more centralized location. It was going to be because we were in Ham Lake, we were going to move dead center Blaine, because CrossFit Blaine was no longer around.
Rigger closed.
Yeah. So I was there when that happened too. So Rigger closed, Blaine was closed. And Blaine doesn't have a CrossFit gym.
No. Wow.
We'll move to the middle of Blaine, and then the COVID happened, and our lease ended at the end of April.
Oh crap.
And so he's like, hey, I'm just going to close.
Yeah.
It's a genius move for you.
Yeah.
Sell all your equipment. It makes sense. I'll go get Trump's money, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
The
I haven't,
government's money.
So now I have a friend that does my programming.
Oh, cool.
And that's about it.
Okay.
So far.
Okay.
So I've reached out to a couple of people. I've put my applications out. I've had people be like, hey, we're hiring. And then I'll apply. And then they'll be like, actually, we're not. It's okay.
Yeah. Kind of sums up 2020.
Let me know when you are.
Right. Right.
Because I saw one a week and a half ago, the job got posted. So I applied within 2 seconds. I was like, I have way more than all the basic credentials that you need for this. Here's my resume. Here's my cover letter.
Yeah.
And then I got an email asking to be able to view those, because apparently I didn't click the share link or whatever.
Okay, sure.
So I let them view it, and then I got an email. They're like, hey, we really like your resume and cover letter. We're not actually hiring right now. And I was like, you just posted the job yesterday. Did someone get there 30 seconds before me?
Right.
They're like, we'll revisit it in April. I was okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. Oh. Don't post the job, and then whatever happens. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Yeah, I'll keep my ears open then.
Yeah,
that's good. Because I network a lot.
That's kind of just how I've been playing the last few years. It's I didn't plan on moving to Florida to coach, and then I just reached out and I was like, hey, no one here is letting me coach. Can I go coach down there? They're like, yes. I was like, that's all I need to know.
Cool.
Be there in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And then met Ben. I met Ben 12 days before I moved to Florida.
Okay.
And then one of the girls from the game day medical staff was down there doing her work, a physical therapy, something for work.
Yeah.
And she came to my class. We hung out. She's like, you should call Ben.
Yeah.
I was like, sure.
Yeah.
I was like, nothing's going to come. Call Ben the next day. Hey, how's it going? I was told I needed to call you. Don't tell anyone this. Only my wife and Franny know. We're expanding. I can hire one more coach.
Nice.
I was like, I will be on the next plane out.
Yeah.
So I put in a notice. I flew back a week later, and then I moved to Mankato. I was like, all I needed to know was yes. I was like, just tell me and I'll be there.
Sweet.
And then I was also sick of sleeping in the supply closet.
Yeah. That's a little tight.
4 months of a supply closet gets old.
Yeah. Very much so.
Yeah.
So your familiarity with coaching, where I was going with that is sometimes when those are structured as a 1099 employee, or a contractor, I guess, not an employee. So what it allows you is, I got a good CPA who said, hey, you can write off anything that's pertainable to your job.
Okay.
Right. So I went to the CrossFit Invictus camp, checked it out, continuing education, wrote that off.
That's awesome.
I went to the CrossFit gymnastics camp in Chicago, wrote that off, so you can see where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
2019, I believe, is when I stopped coaching. I kind of reached a point where it was like, it was a side gig for me.
Yeah.
My full-time job was the equipment financing career with Water Street Funding at the time. So I was like, that job responsibility takes more of my time, a lot of events and networking in person. pre-COVID, of course. And from there, I just found I'd probably be better suited to put more time and effort into Water Street funding versus coaching. So I made the decision to say, hey, I'm going to stop coaching for now. And that's when I went from Athlete Lab to Timberwolf Fitness. And it's been fantastic. I mean, Andrea and Bob own it, and
cool people.
It's a lot of fun, really good group of community and people, and the competitiveness is definitely, 3 steps ahead of me. So it's fantastic because it kicks your ass.
And that's like where we met for the first, for the first time, like 2018 in that building.
Yep.
That is like,
because we'd always cross paths at like game day. And, one in New Orleans. That was game day too.
It's all just game
easy.
Day.
Yeah, it is all game day. Yeah,
just all game days.
Yeah,
and then in the warm up circle, just Ben Smith and Tony was there.
Ben Smith, that was a good time. That's right. The Justice.
With Tony
Tony Collins and Ben Smith and
then Troy Groves put it on.
Yep.
And we're in the warm up circle, and you're like, damn.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, hey Tim.
Hey, Tim. Yeah.
What's up, man?
Yeah. So then from there, it's just kind of found a home and a community, and now I'm still there. So, throughout all of this, continuing to do CrossFit. Now that I'm not coaching anymore, it's fun to kind of take a step back and just view it as an athlete. Where it's interesting that CrossFit uses that term so much, but I definitely think it is. Like, people are an athlete no matter your expertise or your level, right? Like, even if you're a newbie, you're brand new to CrossFit, you're at welcome week, like, you're an athlete. Nothing wrong with calling ourselves that. So, even if it is brushing our ego.
It's like, I was never an athlete. You are now. Get to it, Karen.
Yep. No, it's the place where high school athletes go to grow again.
Yeah, have some
not
fun.
Die.
I had when I was still coaching at Rigger, when Rigger was still open. This guy came in who played football for Bethel. And he went to the NFL Pro Day. And he was like telling me all this stuff. I was like, that's amazing. Let's get back there. Let's get you back there, because that would be so cool. And we nerd, because when I was in high school, we followed the Bigger, Faster, Stronger program. And that's what he followed.
Really?
And he's 10 years older than I am. And he's like, oh, can we do that here? And I was like, I'm not in charge of programming, but yes, sure, let's do it. If you want to do it today, okay, you're the only one in class. Let's have some fun. Exactly. He's like, this is bringing me back to the college weight room days. So I was like, awesome, right? Let's just keep going.
Let's just have fun with it. That's what fitness should be. That's how I always do it. That kind of goes hand in hand where I guess I was going to go next. Dano, was just kind of taking a step back is what I've done the past couple of years from being competitive. I still want to have something on my calendar that I have to, strive for or build towards. And I've just found fitness to be more fun with it. I tried learning a backflip last year, and then COVID happened, but I was working with Roderick, on back handsprings and stuff. And someone's like, why are you learning that? It's like, why not?
It's super fun.
I want to do a backflip someday. I want to dunk a basketball. It's like, we could still do those things.
Why are you doing this? Why not?
Fitness should be fun. So
I definitely understand the whole taking a step back. Just been training, haven't had to worry about someone else's fitness other than mine, right? Just hasn't happened in a long time.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, I'm not going to go teach somebody how to squat again today. I'm going to go work out. Okay, cool.
And I still enjoy that, right? I still see pieces of class where I'm like, oh, I kind of want to go give them a hint, But I think that's kind of just the outspokenness of me too in general about coaching. So I did have a coaching minor in college, so maybe it came from that. My coaching practicum was with basketball, so maybe at some point I get back into basketball coaching or something. But
that'd be fun.
CrossFit was really fun to coach.
I'll have to have you and my youngest brother hook up and talk about basketball. He's getting recruited right now.
Oh, cool. So, Minnesota's a hotbed right now for recruits.
He has an offer from a community college in Minnesota somewhere that sends people to Kentucky after 2 years.
Wow.
So he's excited about that.
That's sweet.
Yeah. Like so I just did my 23andMe.
Yeah.
Got my results back finally. We found out why we're really tall.
Okay.
So we're German, French, and African.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The weirdest mix ever.
It's weird.
And my dad is the shortest out of all of us. So he's 6 foot. I'm 6'2". Both my younger brothers are 6'4".
Holy cow.
My uncle is 6'5". His son is 6'6", and his daughters are 6 foot and 6'2".
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah. And we're like, huh.
Yeah.
Makes sense now.
Yeah. Dang, that is tall. That's kind of like on Sunday when I saw Gronk was standing next to his mom.
Yeah.
And then his brothers, like, they're all like 6'4", 6'7", like
all huge.
And his mom's like 5'6".
Yeah. And like my dad was adopted, and his adopted brothers were also tall. So like his older adopted brother is 6'4". His older adopted brother that passed away a few years ago, all like 6'2", 6'3".
Okay.
All of my cousins from that side are tall, like taller than me. I was like, this is insane.
Yeah.
It's like, what in the world?
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing that when it comes to sports, you can't teach, right? It's just height.
Yeah,
or weight.
Height, weight, and genetics.
Like when we were at Madison for that Badger game, Danny lived with offensive linemen.
Okay.
And one of them was Travis Frederick.
Okay.
I mean, if anyone knows the Cowboys, he was the center for the Cowboys for quite a while. And I don't think I've seen a bigger person.
Yeah.
Like just 6'9" or 8, 300, like just a big person.
Yeah.
And not like that, just
big.
Massive.
Yeah. One of my cousins went to UW Wisconsin. And so we went to a football game, and we're like student section right by the end zone.
Yep.
And I didn't go to college, but like he was in his senior year, which meant I'd be in my senior year. And I was like, these dudes are huge. I was like, they're my age and they're ginormous.
Yeah.
And then I met Corey Proctor, who was a former NFL player. He played for the Dallas Cowboys.
Sure.
He was part of Killcliff when I went to the games in Madison. And we hooked up. We started talking. And I was like,
he was on your podcast, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah.
I was like, you are a giant.
Yeah.
You are a giant human being. And like he's standing here
Yeah.
and like way taller than everyone else.
Yeah.
And then Sam Dancer, who is also a giant human, is standing here, but looks like a child compared to Corey.
Yes.
It's like, this is insane.
Yeah. It's I always, every couple of years I seem to get on this conversation and I'll Google Yao Ming next to JJ Watt. Yeah. Who JJ Watt is a massive person, right? Iowa bred and born and raised, I believe, and then went to Madison.
Yeah.
And his two brothers play in the NFL. He looks like a child next to Yao Ming. Yeah. Dude's 7'6".
Yeah, it's insane. Like just a child.
Genetics,
and then there's Yao Ming.
Genetics is weird
and insane. And like Shaq has started doing like did you see the roast of Justin Bieber?
No.
So Shaq is on the dais.
Okay.
And Kevin Hart is the host.
Oh boy.
So Kevin Hart is standing next to Shaq.
Yeah.
And Kevin Hart's like at his waist.
Right.
And it's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And then Snoop Dogg's standing there too. And he's 6'4", like he's a tall human.
He's tall.
But then there's Shaq who's 7'1". It's just like, what is going on?
Yeah. Yeah, one of the so my father, Terry, in California when he owned his automotive shop, he built Shaq's first Lamborghini.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it was, I believe it was a Lamborghini. Custom made, you know. I actually happened to sit in it. It was my freshman year. This was like 2003 or 2 or something.
Okay.
I couldn't touch the pedals. Like it was just
so big.
There was feet, like 2 or 3 feet between my foot and the pedals. And at that time I was like 5'10", you know, 5'8".
Yeah, that's insane.
So yeah.
They did. There was Shaq. So Shaq really likes like performing and stuff. Like he was a DJ in Rapid, right?
Yeah, he still is a DJ.
Yeah, he still does it. Like he had Gronk on his shoulders. Like who put Gronk on his shoulders? Last year
we had tickets to go to the Gronk Beach Bash, and we sold them.
Okay,
kicking my butt, especially now with COVID. Like that would have been a great way to start COVID. So a beach bash with Gronk, And Shaq was there performing.
Like, cause there was Shaq did this like comedy all-star roast thing. And it was like the roast of Emmitt Smith.
Okay,
And
I heard about that.
someone was making a joke about Shaq having to take games off because of his toe. And they're like, you didn't hurt your toe in a game. You hurt your toe getting in that Lamborghini.
Right.
Like, how do you fit in that car?
Imagine trying to get down and then get out of it.
Yeah. Like, my work vehicle is a Prius.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to get in there.
Right.
And I was like, can you imagine someone that's like bigger than me trying to get in a car?
I'm looking at getting a new car myself. I had a car recently that I wasn't happy with and I sold, so I'm looking to get one. While cars are cheaper than SUVs, getting into a car every day, I have to I'm only 6 foot, just under 6'1", but it's like, I can't imagine 7 feet.
No, like I drive a minivan because it's higher and I don't have to get down.
Yes.
Like
I just want to move over, just sit down.
Get in, not worry about it. My cousin drives a Honda Fit, so anytime he
it's a teeny,
tiny, and he's taller than me. And it's like,
oh wow,
it's like, why are we in this tiny little car?
Right.
Like it's as big as our kitchen table. Like, how are we in this thing? Yeah. So where'd you go after? What'd you decide to get into after 2019? Like, what have you been doing since COVID happened?
So COVID happened. I golfed a lot last year. In my line of work, again, it's a lot of in-person networking.
Mm-hmm. Thankfully, golf's allowed in COVID.
Golf was allowing COVID, so there's no COVID on the golf course.
No.
I mean, but what a great, event or sport to do, where it's literally like spaced out. Like you touch your clubs and your own balls and your tees.
And that's it.
You don't grab the pin. Like they weren't letting you grab the pin. There was a little lifting thing that you could get the ball out. And just a great way to network. So in 2019, COVID hit 2020, was golfing a lot last year, joined the TPC in Blaine because I just wanted to go somewhere. I was having a difficult time finding tee times. And I was like, you know what? I had been at Delwood Country Club before for a couple years.
Okay.
And I used it mostly for work, right? Because it's a lot of people in the finance space
like to golf.
Yeah, clients, prospects, referring partners, and just friends, right? That I find that I have come from networking. And when I left there, though, it was because you could golf anywhere. And then COVID hit and you can't find a tee time. So I'm like, all right, I'll go somewhere else. So I went to TPC and it's been fantastic. So get out there, I was probably playing 2 to 4 times a week, right?
Okay.
My fitness took a backseat because it's beautiful out. That said, it was really cool last year. When COVID did hit, I had, fortunate enough, Andrea let us borrow equipment. Okay. So I borrowed some weights. So I started a squat program through Adria at CrossFit Minneapolis. Okay. It was fantastic. And I was seeing an increase in numbers. And then we had to give the equipment back. So I was like, man, gym's open again. It was so convenient, right? I'd wake up, do my thing, and I'd pull my racks. I had these individual racks, right? The cheap ones. I'd pull them out, put them in my driveway, and people would be running and driving by, but I just wanted to do something in the sun. I felt so great. And then when I had to give the equipment back, and at that point I had a barbell of my own, I gave the barbell to someone. I was like, I don't need this equipment anymore. I'll give it to someone that needs it. And then I went into the golfing phase, and then what did I do last year? It's kind of a blur. We didn't travel, right? Our last trip actually was California. We went in January last year. We were there actually when the news of Kobe died. Okay. That was crazy. We were sitting in Venice Beach actually, and everyone started talking about it. So, I mean, I guess the highlight last year was just hanging out with my wife, golfing. Really enjoyed that. And then while doing so and networking, that's why I was doing it so much, really. Wasn't really getting any better. I was just meeting with people. Someone brought up this equipment company that's starting up. And I was like, interesting. So in my line of work, there's opportunity to refer business back and forth. Like if we can't do something, maybe they can. So I reached out to them and Brian, one of the owners, saying, hey, how can we work together? And then it kind of turned into, hey, do you want to join the team? So
well, that's awesome.
I was like, well, I wasn't looking. Sure. But then I met his partner, Shay, and his partner, Amber, and they're fantastic people. And I really believe in the vision. And what I really love about the name Honor Capital is where I'm at. And the name comes from just this strong Christian faith. and being good stewards and being honor in the work that you do for your clients as well as yourself and your family. Right. So it's, for some reason that just kind of spoke to me, and I was like, hey, let's do it, and it was an opportunity to kind of get back into an office setting. We're up to about 16 or 17 people now already, and opportunity to do larger deals and do them nationwide. So that's where I'm at now. And then my goal, as we're kind of alluding to fitness, kind of taking a back seat, it's now come back into the forefront as far as, hey, I just want to get fitter for life in general. In 2018, I signed up for, I think it might have been through Sam Dancer. I saw the Ultimate Hawaiian Trail Run. Okay. And I was like, hey, I'm going. And it was like, my wife couldn't get the time off work, but she blessed me to go. So I went by myself, met some good people out there, and went and did a 10K. Nice. So it was super fun. Like, I just want to do, I find joy in adventure as well as fitness, whatever that looks like. Yeah. I ran a marathon in 2009 just because I wanted to. It was kind of silly because I signed up for it, was training really well until May. Then I went to Europe for 3.5 weeks. When I came back, I had 10 days. And I was like, oh crap.
I didn't train in Europe.
I ran once in Europe for 2 miles. So
this.
Here we go. It took me like 5.5 hours to be blunt, but it was a blast. And it was a lot more emotional than I thought it would be. Realizing like when you hit 26, 25 miles, you're like, damn, I ran this far. Yeah. Like, this is not easy. Left. Yeah. And you meet a lot of cool people along the way. So I've always kind of felt tied to experiences through groups of people and fitness. So hence the Ultimate Hawaiian Trail Run. I mean, who jumps on a plane to go to Hawaii by themselves and
to run in the mud?
Just to go run in the mud. Yeah, it was super cool. It was like running through Jurassic Park.
That's awesome.
And then this year, I started kind of, actually, it's funny because this has kind of been my vision for my life is kind of, I'm going to steal his word. So build your life resume versus building a resume, right? I find someone's life resume is more intriguing to me and tells me a lot about them versus their work resume. Okay. And who I steal that from is Jesse Eitzler. Okay. So if you don't know him, great follow. Him and his wife, they're just both entrepreneurs and they're hard ass working people, and they spit a lot of good knowledge out. So he started this thing called Build Your Life Resume, as well as the Big Ass Calendar Club. So I actually just spotted it. It's a massive calendar. It's like 4 feet by 6 feet, like a calendar. Yeah. So, and it's your whole year. So you can start mapping out your year. That's awesome. What I like about that is his approach is just speaks so eloquently with my vision. And that is, each year I want to do something that is like, wow, that was like a cool opportunity. So the Ultimate Hawaiian Trail Run for me was that. Tough Mudder used to be that. And then I did 5 and I'm like, okay, that's fun, but same old. So through him, I saw this opportunity called 29029, I believe. And it emulates climbing Mount Everest. Okay. And it's done here in the US. So I signed up for that. That's awesome. So yeah, it's kind of gnarly. Like, I have no idea what to expect. Okay. But I think it's just they say go and you climb until you climb, and then I think you take the ski lift down or something. They're usually set in. Okay. And
then just climb back up.
For 29,009 feet.
Solid.
So it's like, why not
just go to the gym and get on a stair climber?
Yeah, exactly. I guess there's no real terrain here. I mean, maybe up north.
Afton Alps,
yeah. What are you doing? Climbing.
Okay. You're supposed to be going down the hill, right?
It's May. So looking forward to that. That's in August. Maybe try to put a triathlon on my calendar this year.
Those are fun.
I was talking with Jesse about this maybe a few months ago. He did the half triathlon, half Ironman, I think. Okay. Him and Ben Strula did at Athlete Lab. Was it 2019 or I think 2019 or 2018? But my I haven't signed up for it yet because I'm like, I don't know if I want to do a sprint or a mini one or a half, or just sign up and do the full.
Just do the full. I mean, I did a sprint triathlon in 2014.
You did? Okay.
And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
I'm going to go nap the rest of the day.
Right. Yeah.
Like I was more tired after a mini triathlon than I have ever been from any competition.
Really?
Ever.
Yeah.
So it was like
they're three totally different modalities, right?
I mean, I was like, this is great. Like trained. I didn't really train the run because I can't run well anyway. Sure. So it's like, and just see what happens.
Well, it's kind of like when I did the marathon. It's like one foot in front of the other.
Yeah. I was like, it's a 5K. Nobody expects me to be running well anyways. Like, exactly. Who cares? It's like I won the swim in my group.
Nice.
And like it was a 400-meter sprint. And I was like, let's just go out with a bang. And then got on the bike, passed by everybody.
Okay.
And it's like, all right. And then we got to one downhill. And it was just like this long, like 2-mile hill. And I hit 40 miles an hour going down it because I was so sick of being passed.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to go down.
Olson.
Whatever. If I crash, I don't have to run.
Right.
And then my chain broke. And then
it was like, chain
fell off the bike. Had to fix it.
Yeah.
Then I had like 6 miles left.
Oh boy.
All uphill. I was like, here we go. Man. Got back and dropped my bike, started running. And they're like, everyone's almost done. I was like, thanks.
Thank you.
My bike broke, but all right, cool.
Right.
Like,
but the cool thing I find about that, Dano, is that it's like, look at what you accomplished though, right? Yeah. Like, so it's just like CrossFit. I mean, that's why I like CrossFit. I like Timberwolf specifically because it's the competition's there when I want it. Mm-hmm. But there's also a lot of times where I just don't keep score. Like, I'm just working against myself. Mm-hmm. That's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny you did that same thing where you're going downhill. I was watching and you just went full blown.
Yeah. Full didn't even break.
There was a French, what's that one they cycle? The
Tour de France?
Tour de France. Yeah. There was a guy who literally, I don't know how many spots he jumped, but he just laid flat on his bike.
I
his
saw that.
Chest was on the handlebar and like his, hips were on the seat. Yeah. And he was just legs out. I was like, dude, if you're down,
don't fall.
You're going down. Like just
probably the only one not on steroids in the race.
Right.
Like I didn't take steroids. Let's do something else. That's crazy. Yeah. Like I got there's a lady at the bottom who was one of the photographers and she was like, you need to slow down. I was like, nope, I'm losing.
Right.
Like, I'm not slowing down.
Helmet on, right?
Helmet on.
So yeah.
Helmet, a tank top, and some bike shorts. And that was it.
Yeah.
Like wasn't clipped into the pedals either because I couldn't turn my ankles enough to clip out. Mm-hmm. So that would have been hazardous anyways.
Right.
It was
but yeah, that's good actually.
It's like, just go. Whatever.
Right.
Got back and finished the 5K. They had already finished the award ceremony. Everyone was basically gone. I was like, thanks for keeping the finish line open so I can see it. Peace. I'm going home.
Right.
It's like, can I go home now?
Yeah. I was supposed to serve the night of the marathon that I did in Grandma's. I was living up in Duluth. I was working at Little Angie's Cantina. Love that spot and miss it dearly. But after I finished the marathon, I spoke to Sandy, the general manager, and I was like, yeah, I can't work. She goes, I didn't think so.
I already replaced you
basically, right? She was so helpful with that because there was one of my buddies, John. He was a track and field star at UMD, but he ran the marathon. He worked at 4 p.m. like up and down the stairs, like and inside walking around. I'm like, bro, I went home. My legs were up for 8 hours. I was just out.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Like I remember I competed at game day, one of them.
Yeah.
And then I had to coach at 5 a.m. the next morning on Monday. Geez. And I was like, why did I schedule this?
Right.
got up at like 4.
Yeah.
Got moving around, got to the gym, coached my client. I was like, I'm going home.
Yeah.
See you guys later.
I had much more ambition than I thought. I'm going to bed.
I should not have scheduled a client for 5 a.m. after a 2-day competition.
Kudos to you for following through.
Yeah. And then do you remember they used to do the Cato Throwdown?
Yeah.
So it was like the in-house one. Mm-hmm. I did it in 2017 RX.
Oh, wow.
And because my teammate was not a scaled athlete.
Okay.
And she's like, I'll do RX. You want to do it? I was like, sure.
Let me preface with sure.
Okay. I hope you're not expecting to win. Like there's handstand push-ups. I can't do those, but let's try it.
Right.
Get done. There's an after party downtown Mankato. I'm DD. Thankfully, don't need to get alcohol in my system after competing. Everyone else, go for it.
Yeah, they're full. Yeah.
I drop them off at their houses they're staying at. I go home. I'm supposed to coach the next day for open gym on Sunday. I wake up and I'm in the most pain I've ever been in. And I was like, I called one of the coaches. I was like, hey, can you do open gym for me today?
Yeah.
I can't move.
Right. Like, no, literally can't move. Yeah.
And then I like text my teammate. I was like, hey, how are you feeling today? Because I feel awful.
Yeah.
And then she texts back at like noon. She's like, yeah, we slept till 11. And I was like,
yeah, awesome. Not just me then.
It's like, got it. And they're like, we feel great. And I was like, how?
So she felt good.
It's like, that's awesome, but damn.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I miss the days where you could just go hang out with people.
I know, right? Like, it was kind of cool to see some sporting events this last week, and like the golf, the Waste Management Open, they had, I think, like 5,000 fans per day.
That's awesome.
And then obviously the Super Bowl, I think they had like 18,000 or something.
Yeah.
It's like, sweet. You know,
I mean, it was in Florida. Like,
right. No COVID down there.
No COVID. My brother lives in Fort Myers.
Oh, nice.
No, he already had COVID, so he's not worried anymore. But like,
they're actually on the decline too, but I think it's to your point there where you just said, Dano, it's like people have already gotten it.
Yeah.
Or they're just uneducated. They don't care. They just want to risk it. Yeah.
Let's just go get it. Whatever.
Right.
Like my brother had it. My wife tested positive. We think I had it, but like I tested negative after she tested positive.
Yeah, there's so many false negatives out there.
So and I got symptoms like later that day. So I was like, I probably had it. And then like my aunt and uncle both had it. Like almost everyone in my family besides like my parents and my youngest brother has had it so far. And I was like, well, we're all good. Let's go hang out now.
Let's get together.
Let's please.
Right.
Can't go to Wisconsin, go visit very often.
Like, it'll be interesting to see, you know, in the next year or two, unfortunately, how many times can you get it? You know, what's the long-term effects? So it is a lot of unknown right now. It's tough.
Like my brother was like, yeah, the doctor was like, yep, if you do get it again, it'll be like common cold. I was like,
interesting.
He's like, well, it can't be any worse than last time.
Really?
It's like, all right. That sounds awful.
Yeah.
Like other people are like, yeah, I didn't have any symptoms. It's like, okay. What am I going to get?
Right.
Which version am I going to get? Am I going to get like deathly ill, or am I going to get the sniffles?
Yeah, that's the tough part, right? It's like, if we knew how we would react to it, we would all be acting differently.
Yeah, we'd all be like, let's just get it.
Which I think is probably the best approach, is you shouldn't know. So that way we should all be relatively safe. And if we get it, stay away from everyone and recover.
It's not that, like, the rules aren't that like difficult.
No,
like, stay away from people if you don't feel good.
Yeah.
Put something on your face. It's not that difficult. It's not that hard. And then, like, because I work security now. Which is also really weird. Yeah. But like, so many people like out and about. Right. They're just like, why are you shopping right now?
It's like, I always wonder that. Like, that's so funny you bring that up. I think about that a lot. Maybe it's just how my mind works, but like yesterday Sunday or Saturday, I was driving down 35, and like, when you look at stuff, like, I wonder who built that. Yeah. Or like, why are people shopping? Like, what's your story what's your life story? Why are you shopping right now at like 1 a.m.? What are you doing?
Why do you need to be shopping right now? Like,
and it might be they're a first responder or a nurse, and they're getting off their second shift. Right? Yeah. Or they're getting ready to go to a third shift. So it's really interesting to me.
Yeah, because I work until midnight. Yeah. Like on days I work, I'm there till midnight. And then I'll see people like just walking out and about. I'm like, nothing's open right now. Yeah. Like, everything's closed. Yeah. Go home. Yeah. Like, it's also 11 degrees below zero.
That's the other piece about California.
Go home.
I don't miss was the homelessness issue. Yeah. I mean, we're a better place to go though if you're going to be homeless.
Yeah. Like, did you know Savan was homeless?
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah, he talked about it, and I was like, listen to him. I can see it.
Yeah.
Like you would make a great
He's so
homeless
cool with
person.
his kids. With you on Instagram, he shows his 3 boys, I think,
Jumping
or
around.
a couple boys and a girl maybe, just jumping around, and just how he's letting them learn by failure.
Yeah,
like the kid was jumping like 5 feet from a couch to a couch, and I'm like, whoa, I don't know. It's like, all right, give her a send.
like if you get hurt, you're gonna learn.
And they're really athletic, so it's really cool.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, I had nothing. I had my dog, and
that's too bad that podcast went away. That used to be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, they brought it back. It's now him. It's him, Josh Bridges, and Matt Frazier.
Oh, that's
right. They do one every week.
I did see that. They do one every week.
Absolutely amazing.
Is it?
It's
okay.
Like Savan is just like no holds barred.
Yeah.
He'll like ask the most ridiculous
so
questions, or just be like, "Hey, how do you feel about this?"
And he does some good research too, where he'll throw some questions. I was watching when he was part of the CrossFit media, and some of the questions he'd throw out, they'd be like, "Whoa, how'd you find that out?"
Yeah,
it's like he's a very good interviewer.
At First We Feast, the hot ones, where they like make celebrities eat hot spicy chicken wings while getting asked questions.
Oh, really?
And like the dude just knows so much. Like he'll ask them the most random question. Yeah, so First We Feast is like a YouTube channel, and then they have a bunch of different things on there, and the hot ones is by far the best. And so he just asks them like all these random questions that the people, like the celebrities, would be like, wait, how did you know about this?
Right.
Like, where, like,
I called your best friend from 5th grade.
Or like he'll do this thing called, it's like check the gram or whatever, and they'll bring up like pictures that have no explanation. And they'll be like, what was behind this?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, whoa.
Oh yeah.
So like the best ones are Shia LaBeouf and Zac Efron.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Because
I love Zac Efron.
They're like around our age.
Yeah.
It's just like
Shia LaBeouf's kind of gone on a weird.
Yeah,
took a left turn.
He's in this new movie called, I don't remember what it's called, but it's on Hulu, and I'm very intrigued by like just the cover of it looks insane. And I was like, huh, Shia LaBeouf's in this. Might have to watch it.
And you saw Down to Earth, right? With Zach, on Netflix with
yes, I have.
With Zac Efron.
Yeah.
The other guy was actually from Minnesota. Owen.
Yeah, that was like
from Modena or
I was still in like quarantined, sitting on the couch.
Yeah, that's when I was
like, let's just watch this.
That and Tiger King. It was like,
I got 3 episodes into Tiger King, and then I was like, I cannot do this anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, you could make some memes out of this. This would be fun.
Look at where it's gone.
Yeah. And now like they were talking, Joe Rogan and someone were talking, and he was like, man, I can't believe Trump didn't pardon him when he left.
Right.
It's like, that would have been the worst. Like just
Joe Exotic had a limo too at the prison.
Of course he
did. He was
like waiting.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm gonna get pardoned. No, you're not. Stay
Weird how that all went down.
It's like, stay in there.
Yeah.
Like, because like it was crazy here, because like this is Brooklyn Center, right? Like crazy things happen sometimes.
Yeah.
On patrol the day before the the day before the election.
Oh yeah.
They were boarding up all the businesses.
Really?
All of them. And I was like,
here we go. Yeah.
What am I going to have to deal with today?
Right.
And then nothing happened.
Right.
And then they just left the boards up on windows for like a week. And then I would drive past. I was like, did anything happen? Like, no, it's a waste of our time. And it's like, okay.
Well, companies liked it though.
Yeah. It's like
increase in product.
Yeah. Like I'd drive by, and then the people putting the boards on, they're like, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's a waste of our time. We could be doing something else.
100%. Yeah.
I was like, yes, you could. And then like one lady from one of the stores walked up, and she's like, have you heard any rumors? We haven't boarded up all our windows yet. And I was like, no, I have not. You're fine.
Yeah.
You're also like a clothing store.
Right. Yeah. It is weird though when people vandalize and loot what there's no real reason why, right? They just do.
Yeah. And she's like, do you think we'll be okay? Yes.
Like I went down to the Midway section on University in St. Paul. I think it was the weekend after the riots and everything in May last summer, and it was just crazy to see like things were still burning down. Like
Yeah.
the pharmacy that was in Rumbles used to be a client of mine. Was like, how would you burn down a pharmacy?
Yeah.
Like, well, maybe they were stealing some
Yeah.
pills and then something happened.
And then it just went down.
It's just,
like there's a
crazy.
Popeyes chicken across the street, right? And
Yeah.
one of we were in Blaine during the riots. We just left, and one of my friends posted a picture of a burned down Popeyes, and I was like, "This wasn't this one, was it?" She's like, "No." I was like,
good.
"Thank God, it didn't get to my house."
Right, right. Yeah.
Whew. And then like I had Ken Glenn on the podcast, who's a fire captain from Minneapolis.
Sure.
And we were talking, and he's like, "Yeah, man, like we'd be putting a fire out, and then 100 feet away, another fire would get started, and we couldn't go put it out because we didn't have enough armed patrol to help us get over there.
There wasn't enough resources.
Yeah, they had to have armored patrol to go anywhere just to put a fire out." And I was like, that sucks.
Yep.
That's dangerous.
Yep.
Thank you for doing it.
Right.
Like, and then like another friend of mine is in the National Guard for Minnesota, and she got called up. And she's like, she posted something, and she's like, hour 51 of work.
Yeah.
And I was like, whew.
Yeah. One of my buddies was a sheriff, and he got pulled in as well.
Okay.
So I think that he had some really cool images he posted on social media, and where I'm going with that is it was the Friday after the riots and everything, right? You know, kind of Wednesday went down. What Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday were like, Tuesday, Wednesday was like really heavy.
Yeah.
Shit was going down. Then it's like, okay, where's the backup? Why is no one being called in? Thursday went down. Everyone's like, what the fuck's going on? And then finally Friday at like 11 p.m. or something, like, here comes the National Guard, the sheriffs, and everything. But he worked that whole weekend, and he's like, it was terrifying, you know, like in a place where we all grow up and or come to love and live every day. And you have people that are like shooting paintballs at you and like throwing shit at you. It's like, bro, I'm just here to like clear the streets and like keep you inside.
Yeah. Like just go inside.
Yeah. It's hard to think that was only like 8 months ago, but
yeah, it was insane. But we're back.
Yeah.
Mostly
back, and hopefully better for it. You know, I mean, shitty way that it had to get brought to subject, right? Brought to life, but a subject that needs to be talked about more and figured out.
So what do you think, what are 3 lessons that you would want people to learn that you have learned over the last year that you think of that could help somebody that maybe isn't like maybe they're still struggling with everything that's going on? What do you think you have learned that could help them?
With everything that's going on, or just in general, or both?
Both.
Okay.
It's up to you.
All right.
California vibes, you know.
Sure.
Bring that sun
well,
over
I guess
here.
in general, I really, I'd recommend, generally speaking, when you're around people, or when you're around work people or friends or family, I've heard this saying recently, and it's kind of the way it's summed up. We've all heard it differently, but I like it said in this way. And it said, be interested, not interesting. Right. So it's like kind of goes in hand with have 2 ears, 1 mouth, you know, so listen more, speak less, ask questions, speak less. I found that kind of how I've lived my life. I really like being around, for me, I like being around people with different experiences, whether that's, you know, success or failures, and just learning from them and taking that all in and kind of applying it within our own life, right? Like, hey, how can I learn to do things differently so I don't fail at this because so-and-so did? And though it's not extremely similar, there might be some commonality between the 2 scenarios. You know, and I always recommend that, I think this kind of goes hand in hand too with this past year, is it depends on the subject, but I heard this one recently. I read this where it said it's a 12 and 24 hour rule. If you're talking with someone, regardless of the topic, and you leave that conversation and it's bothering you for the next 12 hours, if you're thinking about it and you're like, man, that kind of how we left that conversation bothered me, or what they said bothered me, whether you're disappointed or you're upset or you're sad by what they said, or regardless, right? that within 24 hours after having those feelings, you know, broach that. Like, go back to that person, have that conversation, say, hey, you know, a couple days ago or yesterday we were speaking and this was brought up and like, we didn't agree on this, but I felt disappointed because so-and-so, or I felt put off by you because of so-and-so, right? I think too often I'll say, we keep a lot of our thoughts to ourselves. You know, we are the number one person that we'll talk to in our whole life is ourselves, because the dialogue we have internally. And you look at something like last year and how it unfolded, and like the mental health and the side effects from quarantining and masking and staying distant, while they are necessary and hopefully a short span within our life, it also is having a massive effect on people with their mental health, struggling, not seeing their friends or their family, their loved ones, getting, you know, pushed out of the normalcy of life, now being secluded to working from home. So that kind of goes along with the line of talk about your feelings, talk to someone that you trust. And then also, if something's pissing you off or something upsets you or something, even if something makes you happy and you want to share it, you know, go back to that person and talk to them. You know, don't let yourself sit on that feeling and not share that. You know, kind of when you're having a conversation with someone, and if you're upset, the only person that's upset is you, because the other person doesn't know that you're upset, but you're upset because they don't know you're upset. Exactly. So you're upset that they're not, you know, addressing your emotions, but you haven't spoken your emotions. So I think so often we have these preconceived scenarios in our head where we've already reached the conclusion that we could drastically change if we were just to speak to one another better. So, and I think part of that, the issue there too, is the cancel culture and everything like that. You know, people are shying away from having a voice or a personality, or excuse me, an opinion. But if you don't have an opinion, then you don't have anything to argue for. Right.
And there's going to be people out there that agree with you.
And there'll be people that disagree with you, right?
That's just how life works.
I kind of wish we could throw out a fishing rod and find that time where it used to be okay to disagree. Right? Let's agree to disagree. Okay. But we're good people. You know?
Move on. Like,
everyone's like, just like we were talking about, what are you doing shopping at 1 a.m.? Everyone's got their own life story. Everyone's story is interesting in some form or facet to someone else. Look at YouTube, right? Some of the weirdest people are successful on YouTube. Because people connect to them.
So, and they're like the weirdest people are on YouTube, and they have their weird followers.
Exactly.
And you don't have to agree or follow them, but let them do it.
Exactly.
I mean, I like watching fitness videos. Other people might not. All right, and just don't watch it.
Exactly.
Watch something else.
And then I think the last thing I would say, and this doesn't have to apply to you professionally, but just in life, always take the meeting. You know, always meet with people, even if you're at a job that you love. I've really have concentrated the last 4 years of my life on networking, and I found so much value in that. Like, regardless of your industry, I know Ryan Fisher hypes it all the time. Like, what's made him go from homeless to borrowing shorts and shoes to literally compete and then win the competition at the OC Throwdown, to now owning, you know, a 7-figure or maybe even an 8-figure company,
having his dream home, dream car,
is networking. Like, it goes back to earlier. I had a conversation with someone that was intelligent enough to reach out, and I say that because she's in college and she's like, hey, I don't know what I don't know, and I'd love to, you know, get your story, you know. And what I was telling her is, I think is so valid, is people love connecting people, and people love making relationships and connections and helping people out, especially successful people. So whatever your industry looks like, whoever your peers are or people you look up to, I highly recommend just reaching out, you know. And when I left US Bank for Water Street funding, it was because I took the meeting, right? You know, a recruiter reached out, I could have said no, and I could still be working there just fine, and doing just fine. But I took the meeting, which led me to Water Street. And then I sought out the owner of Honor Capital, who then said, hey, how about you meet with my partners? I took that meeting and here I am now. Right.
Yeah.
So just taking the meeting, meeting people. And if anything, you just met another good person, you know?
Yeah. If nothing comes out of it, you had a great conversation.
Yeah. And nothing after comes out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever. You met someone, had a good time, maybe had coffee, whatever.
100%.
Like that's what happened. Like that's basically how like everyone gets on like the podcast. I was just like,
yeah,
I want that person on. I'm gonna ask them. If they say no, okay.
When you reached out, I was like, oh, cool. I haven't heard from Dan in a while. I was like, sweet.
Yeah.
You know?
And like we've always gotten along.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I don't get to see friends unless like it's on a podcast.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna get whoever I want on here.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna ask them.
And what a great opportunity to again network, meet more people, right? If you hadn't started this and been proactive, would you have ever met Anders?
No. Like we were friends. We were friends on we've been friends on Facebook for like 2 years.
Sure.
Like he came up on my like suggested friends. I was like, obviously I know who he is.
Right.
Friend. And then he added me. I was like, what?
Ooh, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And then like we had a phone call back when the gyms were still open last year because they were doing the 1-ton challenge. And like
that was sweet.
I was like, I need to host this at the gym. Like we need numbers. Like this is perfect. So like I like reached out to him. I was like, hey, I would love to host the 1-ton challenge at the gym that I coach at.
Yeah.
How do we do this?
Yeah.
And he's like, let's have a phone call. And I was like,
yeah.
Like on the phone.
Yeah.
Like,
see, and that's a guy who gets
awesome.
it, right? Like he gets networking.
Yeah.
But he gets like, you know, it's kind of how I like to look at my days or my weeks in my life is what's my objectives? Let's take it down.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's, you know, you reach out and he's like, you need help? Yep. Let's jump on a phone call. Boom.
Yep.
Let's just, so it's like, boom, take it down next, boom, take it down next, you know, and it makes you more productive, but it makes you meet more people.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and he's like, here's my email, shoot me an email. I was like, all right, here's the details. This is what I got. This is what I can provide, whatever. Talked on the phone. And then the guy that was like mediating the phone call, he's like, how do you guys know each other? And Andrews is like, Facebook, the internet. And he's like, you guys have never met? No.
The Internet of Things, man, it is. But like, look at the value of TikTok. Like, I don't know if you're on it, but
I like Thor, like my dog that's right behind the wall right there. Yeah. He has a video on there that's 80,000 views.
Oh, cool.
And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Like, it's a dumb video, but it's hilarious.
And where I was going with that is like, we have so much opportunity, especially now because of quarantine, to meet more people, right? Mm-hmm. Podcast, Zoom, TikTok, you know, you can just meet people. And now literally building relationships through Facebook is a thing. Like, how'd you connect? Facebook. Oh, cool. Well, we actually have a lot of interests. We're very common. So
I followed him on the gram. Followed me back.
Yeah.
Started talking. That's about it.
That's sweet. That's cool.
That's how I met a lot. Like I didn't know, like I knew most of my friends that I now have as actual friends, like through like the internet. And then just like we meet at a competition. Be like, hey, I follow you on Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I follow you.
Mohammed, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Easy. Like we're like, anytime we see each other, it's just like, hey. Yeah. Because like we were gonna host Easy's seminar at the gym, but that like fell through just because we didn't have the numbers. And like he was at game day, he was in the back lifting, and he saw me lifting. Yeah. And he's like, hey, try this. I was like, okay.
Nice.
And then we talked for a little bit afterwards, and then I saw him at the Granite Games that year. So that would have been 2016. So I was coaching teams at the Granite Games for Cato. And like he was like standing outside. It was him, Matt O'Keefe, somebody else.
O'Keefe's another great guy, actually. I reached out to him on LinkedIn and he's like, yeah, send me an email.
That's awesome.
Like, it doesn't matter the success of a person to an extent. Hey, Bezos, do you want to get together?
Yeah. Like he's retired now. He has extra time.
Yeah, he won't retire, but
no. Hey man, you want to go get like coffee? You probably own the shop, but like
he's building a SpaceX competitor to Elon Musk. So whoever can get to Mars first. But you're right, man. It's just people at the end of the day. I think I really learned this too. My father taught me this when I was young. How to put it best, really. Well, there's a couple ways. One is we all put our pants on the same way, right?
Mhm.
Sit down unless someone jumps into them, I guess. But at the end of the day, we're all people, right? We all shit, we all burp, we all love people, we hate people, we like life. Sometimes we hate life, we like fitness, we hate fitness. We all have interests. We're all just people, regardless of the success. And I've really found that approaching people with that manner, whereas like, even if there's someone that's super successful, like there was someone that's very successful in the Twin Cities. I met him at a holiday party. I walk up and his last name is within his company name. So if you saw it, you'd be like, oh, I know you.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I'm Tim. He's like, hey, I'm so-and-so. And just for him, I won't say it, but he's like, yeah, I'm so-and-so. I was like, oh, what do you do? He's like, just stared at me like, what? And I'm like, I'm giving you shit, man. I know what you do.
Yeah.
Right. But that really broke the ice right away. Cause he's like, this guy's pretty cool. He just wants to talk. He doesn't want anything from me. Right. So,
yeah. And like, just, I mean, again, back to like fitness, because that's like the world I've been in for like the last 11 years of my life. It's just like that. Like I was at I saw Killcliff post something on their Instagram page. This was like 2017 before the games. And they made something about like, why should you come to our VIP party at the games? And I was like, random DM. They're like, we'll see you there. And I was like, what? All right. And then like I had friends that were like athletes for Killcliff. So like go hang out, chit chat. They're like, here's a shirt. Wear that. This is the address. Be there. And we're like, okay. They're like, your name's not going to be on the list. Tell them you're with this person. And they'll let you in. And I was like, oh. And then like I go upstairs. There's like no one there besides like the vice president and like CEO and all these people. I'm just like, I coach fitness for a living.
right.
You guys own
I
this.
love your product.
Like, what in the world?
Yeah.
And then like I'm sitting there and this guy comes over and we're still good friends. We'll like text every once in a while. And he's like, hey man, you took my job down in Florida. And I was like,
oh, really?
What? And he's like, yeah, I was the coach at that gym. I left, then you got hired.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that was a year and a half ago. Yeah. What in the world? He's like, yeah, man. I know, like, and then now we're friends. And I was like, what the hell? Like, why are you here? And he's like, oh, I work for Killcliff. And I was like, huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. And like it was like Killcliff and 511 Tactical. And like these ladies came over and introduced themselves. They were like the sales managers for 511. And we started talking. I was like, huh. Just like, I don't know why I'm here. But I'm gonna like experience it. And then
man.
All these other people just like started showing up, friends that I didn't know were gonna be there, and they showed up and I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, and then the next year, this was like Kelsey and I were like 4 months into our like relationship, and we were camping and we were planning, like we had tickets to the games. We were going to leave camping, go to the games. And I get a DM from the CEO of Killcliff. He's like,
cool.
You're on the list. Just show up. And it's like, what the fuck?
All right then.
Okay.
See you there.
Showed up at the Killcliff booth that week and they're like, you're on the list. Show up. I was like,
cool.
All right. I guess this is happening.
Yeah.
She's like, cool.
Say yes, ask questions later.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how or why, but like, I'm going to take the opportunity if we're going to go.
Like, and that's what you need to do, right? Carpe diem, seize the day, seize the opportunity. So many people get paralysis by analysis.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do this job because say yes, figure out how later, ask questions.
Yeah, same. Like that's how I felt with like the job that I have now. Like it's a 9 to 5. But I was like, we're gonna offer you this job, and I was like, cool. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
but guess I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
show up. Yep, see what happens. And then I was like, oh,
yeah,
I can do this.
And I think important thing too, Dano, is along with asking questions, is telling someone when you don't have the answer.
Yeah,
right. I get that every now and then with clients. If we're financing a piece of equipment for $5 million, they'll ask me a specific question around the structure of the documents. Like, hey, do you know XYZ about the documents? I don't. No,
Yeah.
let me go check.
Yeah.
You know, people just want transparency at the end of the day. They want to be able to go to you, know that you know what you know, and that you know what you don't know.
Yeah.
But your team knows. So to an extent, still sell yourself.
Yeah.
But
you're like, when
be
you're
honest. Yeah, when you're working with people, be honest. Yeah.
It's like, I don't, but I can find out.
Yep.
Give me a second. I'll Google it.
Yeah. I'll get back to you. I'll email you later today.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
It's like, I'll get a call on duty and they'll be like, hey, you need to go here. This is what's happening. They'll be like, okay, how should I do this?
Yeah.
Because you guys have been doing this for a long time.
Right.
I've been doing this since October. Like, how would you handle this?
Right.
Cool, I can do that.
Yep.
Just talk. All right.
Yeah.
Like, just have a conversation. Right. It's easy enough. But then
thanks.
I guess last question, what books would you recommend?
Ooh. Top book would be The Alchemist.
Okay.
It's like by I think everyone knows it, but Paulo Coelho or something like that. Really great book, easy read. I probably read it 2 or 3 times, and it just seems to be one that delivers a different meaning every time you read it. And I think part of that is in what mindset are you reading the book at that time, right? And the universe works in crazy ways. I'm a big believer in energy and the universe, you know. Secondly, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
It's a great book.
Yeah. Dale
Carnegie.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic book.
Yeah. I think Ben, CrossFit New England, Ben was the one that recommended that years ago on his podcast. And I was like, what's this all about?
Yeah.
There we go.
That was the book that I was given during my internship in Florida.
Oh, really?
So it was myself, then one other intern. And then he gave me the book and I read it. He's like, you need to read this. I was like, okay. So I read it in like 2 days.
Yeah.
Because I lived in the gym.
Yep.
And then he's like, okay, cool. Give it to the other intern.
Yes.
So gave it
read
to him.
And pass on.
Like, here you go. Like, I took notes. There's underlines, whatever. Like, add your own. And then he gave it back to me when I moved back to Minnesota. And I got all his notes.
It's cool to see notes
somewhere
in
at my parents' house.
Yeah.
I was like, huh.
Yeah.
And I've read it like 4 times.
Yeah. I need to reread that. Along those same lines too. This isn't my 3rd book, but definitely a good one. The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People.
Okay.
By Stephen Covey. That's really good. I had read it before. Ben Bergeron's a big one on that one too. And then 3rd one actually is a total on a different route. Flip Your Future.
Okay.
By this guy named Ryan Pineda. Really good dude, really cool follow on IG and TikTok. He's a guy that I really respect his hustle, and I see a lot of me in him.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is COVID hit and he saw an opportunity of how can I grow? What can I do? Like, what can I learn and be the best at? He started his TikTok. He went from 0 to 500,000 followers on TikTok just by providing content, right? Social media sometimes is about providing content along with doing crazy dances that people love.
Yeah.
But his book is around real estate. And my future, what that looks like is kind of continuing with Honor Capital and being successful, but then setting up passive streams of income, one of those being real estate. So he touches on that. So I really found that book to be really helpful because I think a lot of people are uncertain about real estate, right? Because you don't know what you don't know. And that's not a bad thing. But when you don't know something, you tend to feel a little intimidated. And he just lays it out really well of so many opportunities to get into real estate. Whether you want to buy and hold a property, you want to buy and flip a property, or you don't even want to use any money at all. It's becoming really popular right now to go wholesale, which is basically you go find this company, you knock on a door and say, hey, I see you have been here for 30 years. That's public knowledge by the property records. Would you sell your house? Yeah, I would. Cool. I'll buy it for $100,000. And you can turn around and sell your contract to someone else.
Yep.
For $110,000. you literally have spent no money and you're getting an assignment fee. And it's just, it blows my mind, the opportunities. I was talking about this earlier with that meeting I had. Her name's Kendra. We were talking about just the opportunities to make money out there.
Mm-hmm.
You can do YouTube. I mean, Brian started a YouTube. He's got paid probably a couple $100,000 last year off it.
Yeah.
Like, he only started in March and he made a couple $100,000 off of YouTube.
Insane.
Yeah. I mean, podcasting, there's so many entrepreneur opportunities that you can make passive income, or even not passive, but make income.
Bunch of Reddit nerds that flip the stock market.
Yeah. To the moon. I bought some Dogecoin yesterday or a couple days ago, and it's gone up. But yeah, GameStop, I didn't get in on that one.
No, I thought it was a hoax, so I didn't believe it. I did some like penny stocks just for fun, like through the Cash App, like earlier in the year, just because I was like, I wonder what this is. And then like I 10 times it, and I was like, that was fun. Yeah. And then like I saw it, and I was like, that's probably a joke. And then I looked on it, and I was like, up 63% in a day. Yeah. I was like, I could have made so much money.
And people did.
I was like, I would have just if I would have put $100 on it, I would have walked away with a nice big chunk of cash. That night, just cashed out, don't even care. Yeah. And I was like, why did I believe this was a hoax?
Yeah. Yeah. I thought the same thing. And I quarantined, or I say quarantine, but when COVID hit, I kind of fled to Vanguard and Robinhood. And that's another side hobby of mine too. But along with millions of other people. Yeah. Like, hey, I'm going to be a trader or, stock investor. I don't day trade myself at all. I think it's too risky, but I'm going to be a stock investor. Like, yeah. But when you look at GameStop, like the valuation just does not make sense.
No.
So when I saw it hit 70, I'm like, okay, like it might go to 8, went to 490. I'm like, I'm sitting on the sidelines here.
It's like, I'm just to watch, because like the next day I checked and it was down, and I was like,
it went from 490 to 260 to 340 in one day.
Yeah.
I was like, holy cow.
Yeah. And like AMC on the Cash App share,
I did buy it at actually
$7 a share.
Yeah.
Still. And I was like, I could have made so much money.
I got into that in like April or May. I think it was like $2.
Gotcha.
And then I sold when it was like $5.50 or $6. But it's only a few $100 in there.
Yeah.
So
like
it's fun. It's like gambling.
Yeah. I messed with Zoom and Tesla.
I made a bid off Tesla.
And I made a bid off of Tesla. And
I bought a Tesla with my Tesla stock.
Solid.
So actually in November we picked it up, and nice. But then I sold it recently. So be cognizant, if you look at a Model Y, they are not good in the snow.
No, I want the SUV version.
The X.
Yeah. The X.
No one has issues with the X, S, or 3 with the all-wheel drive, but the Y's all-wheel drive was shit. And then secondly, the battery anxiety is like a real deal.
Gotcha.
Like up here, it was, in the Minnesota, it would zap at 30% a day, like just sitting outside, like 30% gone. Like, okay, I gotta go charge it.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully we have like 3 Hy-Vees within a 15-minute radius. Is cool. So like I just go park it at Hy-Vee, charge it while I go get groceries, and then come home and it's fine.
Yeah.
And like we could just buy the charger, because our garage spot has like,
oh nice, yeah,
has the like outlets right at the front, so I could just plug it in. But I was like, man, that Tesla, the Model X would be great. It's super heavy, so apparently it goes really well in the snow.
It does.
It's like, this would be amazing. And there's a couple. There's this husband and wife that I used to coach, and they both had Teslas. She had his older Tesla, and then he had the newer Tesla.
Okay.
They would just drive them to the gym, park next to each other. I was like,
yeah,
these are insanely crazy cars.
Yeah.
This is a CrossFit gym.
Right.
What do you guys do?
Yeah. It's definitely become a status symbol, right? Or like it makes you inquisitive of what's that person do?
Yeah.
Because they're fun. Technology's great.
We went to Kelsey's cousin's house for Halloween in 2019.
Yeah.
And we're like standing outside waiting for her husband to pull the car out. And like Kelsey and her cousin are talking. I'm just standing there. All of a sudden this Tesla starts backing out. And like my jaw drops, because we're in like Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
Wow.
And like Kelsey's like, what are you staring at? I was like, it's a Tesla.
Yeah.
Like, that's the car I want.
Right.
And then they're like, get in. I was like, let's
Yeah.
go. This is insane.
Yeah.
I was like, I need the SUV version because I can't get down in this. Like,
Yep.
This is too small.
Yeah. I was gonna say they're affordable, but then I remember you want the SUV ones. The threes and you can get into a 3 now for like 35 grand, 30
they're not
grand,
bad.
or even just get a used one. But I think even the used X is, I don't know, 40, 45.
There's
a used one, which isn't bad.
There's an Airbnb app for rental cars now.
Turo.
Yeah, Turo. And there was a few Model X's in this area that you could rent. And I was like,
So what Tesla does actually, and for anyone who's listening that's interested in a Tesla, go to the dealership, say you want to drive it, and they'll let you borrow it for the weekend for free. There's no gimmicks. I did that last summer. I was like, hey, I want to test drive a Tesla. And they're like, you just want it for the weekend? I was like, what? Like, yeah.
It's like, oh, of course I do.
All right, just bring it back Monday morning. We open at 8 a.m.
It's like, all right.
Yeah. So it really gives you the feel of like driving it. And, I got to go charge it. And
yeah. That'd be fun.
It's pretty sweet.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being on the podcast, Tim.
Yeah, man. Thanhanks for having me.
Where can people find you?
Appreciate it.
TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok, Instagram, and my handle is at the Timbo, THEE Timbo. Reach out if you have any questions on anything, if I can help connect you to anyone. I network a lot, so
awesome. Didn't your username used to be like Timbo Slice?
It was the Timbo Slice. Yeah, my really good friend from college, Maddie, started calling me Timbo Slice.
That's hilarious.
I never met Kimbos, but I did meet Rampage Jackson when I was in Vegas, so that was kind of similar to Kimbo, I guess. But.
Awesome. Well, thanks again.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Of course. Bye, folks. Ugh. Again, I have a hard time getting up on Tuesdays. It's not a fun day. Oh, man. Thank you so much.